In our last investigation, we opened the file on Abuja. We showed you the ghost mansions. We showed you the shell companies holding the certificates of occupancy. We showed you the digital shield, a registry that is fast, digital, and completely anonymous. Tonight, we ask the other half of that question. Not who owns the buildings, who fills them. He was promised a new life, a dream job with an international energy company. Instead, he became a pawn in a continent-spanning theft. His savings, meant to secure a work permit, vanished in an instant. This isn't just one person's story. It's a story about how billions are siphoned out of South Africa every year, often starting with the false hope offered by fake job agencies. This river of stolen money doesn't just disappear, it has to go somewhere. Often, it flows north through a complex web of digital channels before finding a home in the anonymous, gleaming office towers of Abuja, Nigeria. There, it can be washed clean, funneled into shell companies controlled by operators hiding in the shadows. Before we open this file, a brief acknowledgement. To everyone who has subscribed to Historic Capital, thank you. To our channel members, thank you. And to everyone supporting us on membership and Buy Me a Coffee, thank you. Your support funds the research. It funds the documents, the verification, the editing, the production. And it is the only reason these investigations answer to nobody. Here is my investigation update for Wednesday, August 19th, 2026. Today, I am driving through the streets of Warsaw, Poland, and I am following a river of money that starts in Johannesburg and ends in a building I showed you last week. So for the next few minutes, we're going to follow a trail like this one. We'll show you the playbook, how a massive cross-border heist like this can work, who gets rich, and why it's so difficult to stop. It's a journey that begins with a single, desperate click on a job ad and can end in the corridors of corporate power, revealing a criminal scheme that drains economies and destroys lives. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's trace the paperwork. Now, drive with me, let's talk about it. The story starts in cities like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban, where unemployment is a harsh reality. This desperation creates a fertile hunting ground for a specific type of predator. South African authorities have repeatedly issued stark warnings about a rise in fake online job offers used by criminal syndicates. It's illegal in South Africa to be asked to pay for a job, but scammers prey on the vulnerable. These aren't just tricks, they're the entry point to a much larger criminal enterprise. Let's look at a typical case. We'll call our victim Sipho. He's 24, a recent graduate, and he's been searching for a job for 8 months. One morning, he sees a slick ad on social media for a role with a major oil and gas firm. The salary is almost unbelievable. The logo looks perfect. He applies. Within days, he gets a reply from a free webmail address, the first red flag. But Sipho, caught in the excitement, barely notices. After a brief informal interview over a messaging app, he receives an official-looking offer letter. There's just one catch. To secure his international work permit, he has to pay a processing fee of 15,000 rand. He's told it's standard procedure and fully refundable. Desperate, Sipho gathers his family's savings and makes the transfer. The money is sent, the recruiter goes silent. The number is disconnected. The email bounces back. The 15,000 rand is gone. Gone in a single transfer. Not stolen from a bank, stolen from a family. Sipho's story is repeated thousands of times. Scammers impersonate legitimate employers using their branding to build a veneer of credibility. But the request for upfront fees is the classic, undeniable sign of fraud. Thousands of Siphos. What victims like Sipho don't realize is where their money goes next. It's not just gone, it has become the seed capital for a global money laundering operation. That 15,000 rand is a drop of water that joins a torrent of illicit cash flowing out of the country. This isn't just petty crime, it's the first step in a sophisticated process to wash dirty money. And to understand where it goes, you have to pull on this thread. So where did Sipho's 15,000 rand actually go? The bank account he sent it to likely wasn't owned by a criminal mastermind. It probably belonged to another victim, a money mule. This is someone recruited, sometimes unknowingly, to receive and forward illicit funds. Their account is just the first stop. From there, the real shell game begins. It's a process called layering, and is designed to make money untraceable. Sipho's money is bundled with funds from dozens of other victims. This larger sum is then fired through a rapid series of transactions. It's split, transferred to another account, then another. It might be converted into crypto, then back into a different currency. Each transaction adds a layer of complexity, like mud thrown on a clear trail. This elaborate movement of funds often crosses borders in minutes, aiming to escape the jurisdiction of any single law enforcement agency. While modern banks have systems to detect these patterns, the criminals' goal is to constantly evolve their methods to try and look like harmless noise. That is the whole point. We can visualize it like a spider web. The initial deposit is at the edge. It then shoots along one thread to a junction, splits, and races along two more. For law enforcement, it's a nightmare. By the time they get a warrant for the first account, the money is already 5 accounts away, likely in another country. 5 accounts ahead, every single time. This isn't amateur hour. To understand the mechanics, we spoke to a financial crime analyst. Let's call him David. These job scams are a perfect entry point for launderers, he explains. They generate a high volume of small, seemingly insignificant payments. You're not looking at one transfer of 10 million rand. You're looking at 1,000 transfers of 10,000 rand. The goal is to obscure the origin. He continues, by the time this cash leaves South Africa, it no longer looks like money stolen from job seekers. It looks like a payment for a commercial service or a transfer between international business partners. It has been given a new identity, ready for the final stage. It has been given a new identity. The money has been cleaned of its origin story. Now it needs a legitimate-looking destination to re-enter the legal economy. One common destination for these funds is hundreds of miles north in Nigeria. This web is intentionally complex, designed to protect the architects of the crime while leaving a trail of victims. Following these threads takes resources and persistence. If you believe this kind of deep dive investigation is important, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It's a simple click, but it directly supports our ability to continue uncovering these truths. After a dizzying journey, the stolen money needs a place to land and appear legitimate. This is where the shell company comes in. Think of a shell company as a corporate ghost. It has a name and a registration number, but behind that facade, there's nothing. No employees, no products, no actual services. Its only purpose is to receive money, giving illicit funds the appearance of legitimate business revenue. It exists only on paper, nowhere else. For years, criminals have exploited corporate registration systems, setting up phantom firms to act as the final destination for laundered money. Here's a common playbook. The layered funds from South Africa, now disguised as a legitimate commercial payment, are wired to a Nigerian company. Let's call it Abuja Global Solutions. The payment is justified with a forged invoice for vague services like consulting or logistical support. Once the money is in the bank account of Abuja Global Solutions, it's effectively clean. It has been transformed from thousands of small fraudulent transactions into a single large corporate payment. From there, it can be used to buy property, luxury cars, or be moved into the personal accounts of the syndicate's leaders. The crime is complete. I am driving past ordinary office buildings tonight. Warsaw, glass, lights, a name on a plate by the door. Every one of them is exactly what it says it is. So who owns the company? The names on the documents are often nominee directors. People paid a small fee to lend their name, acting as a human shield for the true owner. A human shield. For years, this corporate secrecy has been a massive challenge for Nigerian authorities. However, things are starting to change. Recognizing that anonymous companies are a primary vehicle for corruption, Nigeria's Corporate Affairs Commission, or CAC, has been cracking down. In 2025, it delisted over 400,000 inactive companies for failing to comply with regulations. Even more importantly, Nigeria launched a public beneficial ownership register in May 2023, making it one of the first countries in Africa to create such a public database. The goal is to force companies to declare the real person, the person with significant control, who ultimately benefits from the company. We spoke with an anti-corruption advocate in Abuja. The beneficial ownership register is a critical tool, she told us. For the first time, we can start to connect the dots between a suspicious company and the powerful individuals hiding behind it. However, she adds a note of caution. A register is only as good as the data in it and the will to act on that data. Knowing who owns a company is the first step. Making them accountable is the real battle. So let's connect the dots on how a scheme like this works. A young unemployed graduate in South Africa loses his life savings to a fake job ad. His money is combined with others and shot through a maze of international bank accounts. Finally, it can land in a shell company in Abuja, registered under a nominee's name. The money is then withdrawn by the true owner, a member of a sophisticated cross-border syndicate. The people running this are elite operators who understand technology and financial loopholes. They exploit the desperation of job seekers in one country and the weaknesses in the corporate registration system of another. It's a crime built on asymmetry, the power of organized criminals versus the vulnerability of ordinary citizens. The impact goes far beyond the initial financial loss. These scams don't just steal money, they steal hope, deepening the cynicism felt by young people. They steal hope. And the risks can go beyond financial loss. Globally, these kinds of fake job offers have been used as a lure for human trafficking, where victims are promised jobs only to be forced into criminality themselves. The economic damage is just as severe. This fraud contributes to a much larger problem: illicit financial flows. Africa is estimated to lose nearly $90 billion every year to such flows, which drain capital that should be circulating in local economies, creating legitimate jobs. This weakens currencies, erodes the tax base, and discourages investment. $90 billion every year. Look at that number again. We started with a single fake job ad. We have ended up in a world of phantom corporations and a system that allows billions to vanish. The question is no longer just how they do it. We've seen the playbook. The more urgent question is, who is allowing them to get away with it? So, we've traced a playbook. A playbook where money, stolen through false promises in one country, can be washed clean in another, often using the anonymity of shell companies. This reflects a documented pattern of criminal methods that leverage modern technology and age-old greed. Recent efforts, like Nigeria's push for a transparent beneficial ownership register, are a critical step in the right direction. They offer a glimmer of hope that the era of anonymous, untouchable shell companies may be ending. But a register alone is not a silver bullet. The criminal syndicates that profit from this theft are global, and the response must be as well. It requires intelligence sharing between banks, aggressive enforcement from police, and the political will to close the loopholes these launderers exploit. The road I'm driving on tonight was paid for by taxes somebody actually collected. That is the whole difference. $90 billion a year is a road that never gets built. The kinds of networks that leave victims like Sipo with nothing are still operating right now. They're advertising new jobs, finding new victims, and funneling more money into the shadows. They are advertising right now. The lingering question is not whether we can stop them, but whether we will. Share this video to raise awareness of how these cross-border scams work. And let us know in the comments, what do you think is the most effective way to dismantle these international money laundering networks? Next, we open the file on the money mules, the ordinary people whose bank accounts carry this river north, and what happens to them when the police finally arrive. Every shell company has a name on it. Somebody signed for it. The truth is in the transactions. Follow the money, and the paperwork will give you a name. You are watching Historic Capital.